So now. So hi, everybody on YouTube. We normally don't stream our classes, but we're going to do it a couple of times just to kind of give people a taste of what we do for our online classes. So if you're interested in training with us in Rushin Shochi Ryu, which is a Kenjutsu style, we study directly under Yahage Sensei in Tokyo. You can join us online at patreon.com/NYBA, and you can come and train. We'll show you how to do it. If you don't have any Ito or equipment, we can show you how to get started without anything. All you use a wooden spoon or a ruler or something to hold on to, just represent grip, and we can work with you from there. We also are offering Kyudo classes, which is Japanese archery. And again, you don't need, ideally, you would get a Yumi and you go to an archery range. You can do that, but you could also use resistant bands and like a dowel as like an example of like an arrow. And we can show you how to kind of like, do that as well. So our classes are a lot of fun. We're a not-for-profit organization in New York City, and we do this because we love it. So I hope you enjoy the class today. Again, I'm not going to be teaching to camera for beginners on YouTube. This is just one of our normal classes. We have students from all over. So hope you enjoy it. And now I'm going to focus on you guys. What's up, Alex?
Hey, guys. Hey, Corey.
Hey, Corey. How
Alex,
you doing?
good to see everybody.
So hopefully all of our friends in Ukraine are doing okay. I'm very worried about them. David's been listening to me freak out all week.
No, we're both concerned. And
Yeah, I worry about them. It's not a good situation there, unfortunately. I wish they were just part of NATO, and then it would have at least deterred somebody from going in. So today we're going to be doing Nidon stuff. This is the last class for Nidon. I might go into a little bit of Sandan, and I might do a little bit of Shodan. So I'm going to try to keep our warm-up at least to an hour. We're going to go pretty quick. I'm not going to go too deep into our warm-up with too many details. So we're going to move through that. But hopefully we'll continue. So I hope you guys enjoy the class. I guess we can wait for another 2 minutes. See, if you guys have any questions, concerns, let me know, or you can ask David. Again, I have a new floodlight here. Hopefully it works a little better, and I'm not so dark in the space. I tend to kind of disappear, and all you see is my head, which is not so good. How you guys doing? Everyone okay?
I think as well as can be expected.
Yeah. What's up, Mario? What's up, Corey? What's up, Robert?
How's it going?
So just also a little quick announcement. We're trying to organize a kind of group Rushin practice in New York City for the region in probably end of March, beginning of April, depending on when we can find a space. We're going to be opening it up to probably all the other Rushin groups in the tri-state area. It'll be a low fee. We'll try to keep the fee down just to cover the space. But we also will be doing testing as well. So like Alex, I know you're up for NICU or ICU at this point.
NICU.
NICU. So, if you're up for a rank, please let me know if you want to test. Robert, I know you've been training. So I think Shodan, I believe you take Shodan at this point because you have ICU. So we will make sure we get you ready for that test, that upcoming test. Okay. If you do reach rank,
go ahead.
No.
I was going to say it's a one-day seminar, not a 2-day seminar. And it's a good opportunity to also meet a lot of folks from our area, from other dojos and other senseis. It's actually a lot of fun. We've done it once before, just prior to the pandemic. And
anytime before, but
it was a lot of fun.
So it was one of our practices that we did for many years, that we would always supplement. So it's a lot of fun getting to see everybody. So we hope we can do it. You know, we try to do testing once every 6 months for rank. We are an official Russian school. We can give up to rank up to Sandan, which is through Japan again. That being said, to get to whole rank in Russian, you have to be a Russian member. That's not a member through us, that's a member through the organization in Japan, the home group. So we pay annual dues to them. That's just to pay. We want to be, you're a member of the organization and you can hold rank. There is a one-time fee of $50 that we charge, that they charge as well for a passport. It's like a little green book that you get. It's called a Budo passport, and it has stamps and dates, and basically it's, you know, it's their way of keeping track of things. Very old school Japanese way. They love their little passbooks and little stamps. So I would like to do that digitally, but people seem to like the books. So we still have those. So you pay that one-time fee, the annual dues, and then you are able to hold rank. Testing fees and certificate fees are dictated through Japan. So that goes to Japan. We keep a portion of that. So with, I believe with, I think it's like 20, I think 20% or 30% we keep of annual dues. And I think it's 50% of testing fees. We keep 100% of testing fees. It's 50% of the certificate fees that stay here. And we take those fees. Again, we're not for profit. I don't get paid. Senpai David doesn't get paid. Phil Sensei doesn't get paid. Tatiana Sensei doesn't get paid. Everything else goes back into the school, back into helping buy equipment or curtains or lights and things like that. Helping support the school. And when we have testing fees and all that other stuff, we bring Yahage Sensei once a year to New York City. We fly him, and we do his visa and everything. So that money we usually pool, and that basically helps supplement the fees for Yahage Sensei, because he doesn't come to teach for free. We pay him a stipend. Anyway, why don't we get started and let's have a great class. Down a little more. Okay, there we go. If you guys can mute yourselves, that would be great. Thank you.
Germany, right? Sensei, right? Otegai ni, right?
Arigashimasu.
Arigashimasu. To ni, right?
Hi guys, welcome to another New York Budo Association class. I'm Sensei Mitch, and I hope you guys enjoy the class. So we're going to get right into it today. February, we've been doing Nidan. So this is we're going to do a little bit of Nidan. We might do a little bit of Shodan, a little bit of Nidan, And I think we're going to start moving into Sandan Kata. So these are always fun. Sandan is one of my favorite sets to do. So I'm really excited about that. Again, it's really, really important that we focus on our basics in and yo, and learning how to move our body, making those transitions. So I want everyone to be cognizant and to really be aware of when you're doing these warm-up exercises, how you're using your body, how your body is flexing. It's really, really important. If you can focus on these first hour, the first half of these warm-ups, and you can make this right, everything else will become much easier all the way down the road. And your kata will become much, much better. All of your techniques will become better. So let's have a good class. We're going to get right into it today. I'm not going to spend too much time doing warm-up. We're not going to do our little warm-up exercises today. We're going to go right into Kamae, Tenku no Touch, Subari, all that fun stuff. Okay, here we go. So let's start with Kamae. Kamae are basic stances. So everyone please do it with me once, and then I'm going to call on someone to do it. I'm going to give comments. All right. Iaigosh. Seiga no Kamae. Geira no Kamae. Jusuri no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Chora no Kamae. Tombow no Kamae. Maki Tombow no Kamae. Tombow no Kamae. Wakigame no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. In no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Yo no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Manji no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Kochuburi. Noto. Back to Iaigosh. Good. And I totally messed up. I went into, instead of Gaidon, I went right into Jusuri. So that was my mistake. So I'm going to call on someone. I want to see how you guys do. And let's go from there. Okay. So these are really important. And I'm going to call on someone who I want to focus on today. So Corey, you ready, man? I hope it's warmer than it is here because it's like.
It's so since it's warm enough to be outside.
Okay, that's good. Ready? Can you lower your camera down a little bit? Is it possible? Because I want to see you. Yeah, it's better. Ready? Iaigosh. Seiga no Kamae. Geira no Kamae. Jusuri no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Joda no Kamae. Watch. I know you have room up there. Okay. Tombow no Kamae. Okay. Maki Tombow no Kamae. Good. Tombow no Kamae. Wakigame no Kamae. Good. Seiga no Kamae. In no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Yo no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Anji no Kamae. Seiga no Kamae. Kochuburi. Noto. Good call. I hope the neighbors don't call the cops on you.
Let's not jinx it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're brave doing that in the front yard, man. I'm
Yeah, I
just waiting
know.
for a cruiser to come down the back.
So really good, Corey. This is what I want you to work on. So overall, really, really good. So the one thing I'm noticing is when you're sitting in Seigan, your arms to be very, very tight here and here, right? So try to release, it's almost like holding a baby, right? Like you have to be kind of soft. So it should be almost like a circle here, or an oval. This should be kind of relaxed and soft. You don't want to straighten your arms. See how my arms are tense? You want to relax your arms. So this should all be relaxed. Seigan is considered a chuyo, neutral position. So try to think about that as a neutral position. Okay, but your angle of the sword is correct, right? You're keeping it low, you're not pointing it up. So that was really good. Gaidon, when you go into Gaidon, you want to keep your hips and your body straight. So the key is not to turn your body. See how I'm leaving my shoulder in? So I want to keep my torso straight, and I want to just lower my arms in Gaidon. Then Jasuri, I'm lowering my center, but you can see my chest and everything is still full, right? So I don't want to, you don't want to twist, okay?
Okay, Sensei.
So Jodan look really good. Tombow is looking much better. You're relaxing your shoulder. You can also try to relax this elbow a little bit. So you don't need this elbow, doesn't have to be up like this. Try to relax it so it's relaxed. It's almost like it's resting on your chest, okay? Maki Tombow, good. You don't have to twist your whole body. Just try to keep your torso, everything facing forward and twisting. Okay. Wakigame, I noticed that it's hard for me to see, but I can see that your hands are, you can see my hands are away from my side here. Bring your hands right to your hip. Okay. Keep your hands right to your hip. And you also don't want to twist your body, but you want to keep your hips forward again. Okay. In no Kamai, you want to, don't leave your hands here, push your arms out further. The cutting edge of the sword is actually angled up to catch the cut, okay? So you want to make sure the angle of the sword is angled up and forward, and it's over your head, not below your head, okay? This is in no Kamai. Stay back to Seigan, and then Yo no Kamai, look good. Make sure you have that tenuch, so that's looking better, right? And then Manji, try to keep, see how I have space here and here? You don't want to have any space. So I always call this like the chicken, right? So think about squeezing your body, right? So this is pushing into almost like an in position, right? You're pushing. And then everything else look good. Work on not pinching with your fingers on your no-toe, but that comes in time. So no, very good otherwise. Corey, you're doing awesome.
Thank you, Sensei.
And the chimes are hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, I keep hitting them actually, so.
It's cracking me up. All right, so let's do Kamai one more time, just everybody, all right? And then we're gonna move on to Subari. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to do it at a slight angle this time, just to give a different angle on stuff. Maybe I'll do it this way. How's that? Okay, so let's do it all together. Let's do it a little more intense this time. Please do it my speed. So ready? Yeah, gosh. Seiga no Kamai. Seiga no Kamai. Jusuri no Kamai. Seiga no Kamai, Jodan no Kamai, Tombow no Kamai, Maki Tombow no Kamai, Tombow no Kamai, Wakigame no Kamai, Seiga no Kamai, In no Kamai, Seiga no Kamai, Yo no Kamai, Seiga no Kamai, Manji no Kamai, Seiga no Kamai, Kochuburi, no To. Fantastic. So that was Kamai. Everyone's doing great. So let's continue with now Subari. Subari is really important. We're using yo to in. So the key on this one, and I always show feet, you want to keep your feet slightly staggered. So your right foot is slightly in front of your left foot. And you want to keep that relationship. So when you slide forward, you bring your left foot back up and you want to keep that relationship. Slide back and I keep that relationship, right? So my feet are not going here, right? They're always going to be in this kind of position. Okay. Second thing is yo to in. So opening your chest, yo, open, close your chest, in. Open, closed, right? Make sure you're breathing out with the cut. Breathing out with the cut. The last little thing is proper kamai, proper tenuch. So tenuch is proper grip. So this is one of the things that irks me about people who use sword on everywhere, is that their grip is never proper. So with our system, you want to push the tsuka in the palm of your hand, wrapping your pinky around the bottom of the tsuka. Okay. These three fingers. The index finger is relaxed and the thumb is on, we want to be on top of the weapon. This is an edge weapon. Okay. Same thing with these three fingers, 1, 2, 3, and here. So this should be relaxed. This is kamayate. Kitate is pushing the thumbs, stopping the cut, and then tomite, pushing a little further. So kitate, tomite. Okay. So try to stop the cut when you can. Try not to bounce. And what do I mean by that? Is when I'm doing this exercise, see how I'm bouncing up? Don't bounce. Try to make sure the cut is held. You keep the integrity of the cut and then do the next one. All right, so enough talking. Let's do 20, nice and soft. Make sure you bring the sword all the way down. Open your chest. Close your chest and cut all the way down. Okay, here we go. Let's do 20 all together. Each. Ni. Sam. Shi. Ko. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Q, Chu, each, ni, sam, shi, ko, rok, shich, hutch, Q, Chu. Very good. So this one should be nice and relaxed. I want you to focus on opening and closing, letting your body relax. Very important not to change your grip. So make sure you practice that tenuch. It's really, really important. Okay, next one we're going to do is cutting. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference is you're cutting and you're stopping at Chudan middle level. Okay. So try to stop at middle level and you're going to do a nice strong ki. If you're outside, Corey, you're in front of your house with your neighbors, just breathe out strong. Good strong breath is totally fine as well. This way they don't call the cops on you or something like that. Yeah, there's a weird guy, he's like screaming and he's using a sword in front of his house. Yeah, don't do that. So with this, make sure you're cutting and stopping here. Kitate, tomite, pushing a little bit to stop the sword. You control the sword does not control you. Okay, let's do 30, nice and strong all together. Okay, good strong ki. Each, hey, ni, hey, sam, hey, shi, hey, ko, hey, rok, hey, shich, hey, hach, hey, Q, hey, chu, hey, ich, hey, ni, hey, sam, hey, she, hey, ko, hey, rok, hey, cheech, hey, hutch, hey, Q, hey, chu, hey. I think that was 30. Was that 30 or 20? I think it was 20, right? David, how many was it? 20. Oh, sorry. So 10 more. Sorry about that. Each, hey, ni, hey, sam, hey, she, hey, go, hey, broke, hey, sheech, hey, hutch, hey, Q, hey, two, hey. Now that was 30. So sorry. I am terrible at counting. I always mess up. My apologies. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to do 50, which I'm bound to mess with the count somehow. I always do. But we're going to do ya, a. So this is the next one is really about breathing and breathing using our tanden. So put your sword away for 2 seconds. So your lower abdomen, this is my belly button, and about 3 to 4 inches below my belly button is my center, my tanden. In Chinese, I think they call it ha. So this is your lower abdominal breathing. We practice this to try to keep this ball of air expanding always. So we want to maintain that ball of air. And this exercise, we're focusing on keeping that ball of air here. So relax your knees, stand shoulder width apart, relax your knees, put your hands on your lower abdomen. Inhale through your nose, and then exhale, ya, hey! Feeling that breath push down and out, and expanding that ball of air. Let's try 2 more. Ya, hey! Ya, hey! And you should feel your sides expand as well as your lower abdomen expand. When we're doing kata, that's the type of breathing that we're going to do. So with this one, you're going to be breathing out the entire way, okay? And what do I mean by that? So we'll be starting in Seigan. You can cut all the way down to Chudan again, to middle level. For advanced, if you want to cut to men, you can cut to men, to you. But the second the tip moves, you begin to breathe out. And the breath out is the entire way, okay? So I inhale through my nose, and then I exhale. Ya, hey! Inhale. Ya, hey! We're going to do 50 of these. So try to make sure that you breathe out. The second the sword begins to move, you are breathing out, okay? So that's the key. Try not to hold the breath or try to cheat it so you're breathing out here rather than make sure you inhale here and then exhale. Then inhale. Okay, let's do 50 all together, okay? And hopefully I won't mess with the count too bad. Each, ya, hey, ni, ya, hey, sam, ya, hey, she, ya, hey, go, ya, hey, broke, ya, hey, sheet, ya, hey, touch, ya, hey, cute, ya, hey, shoot, ya, hey, each, ya, hey, ni, ya, hey, sam, ya, hey, she, ya, hey, go, ya, hey, broke, ya, hey, sheet, ya, hey, touch, ya, hey, cute, ya, hey, shoot, ya, hey, each, ya, hey, ni, ya, hey, sam, ya, hey, she, ya, hey, go, ya, hey, broke, Yai, Shich, Yai, Touch, Yai, Shoot, Yai, Shoot, Yai, Each, Yai, Neat, Yai, Some, Yai, Sheep, Yai, Go, Yai, Broke, Yai, Sheech, Yai, Touch, Yai, Cute, Yai, Shoot, Yai, Each, Yai, Neat, Yai, Some, Yai, Sheep, Yai, Go, Yai, Broke, Yai, Sheech, Yai, Touch, Yai, Cute, Yai, Shoot, Yai. Fantastic. Really good. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Very good. So the next one we're going to do is Tombow no Kama. Tumble cutting is cutting kesagiri. We're cutting from shoulder to hip. This is a cumulative technique. It is not using your arm so much, rather than you're using your body to make the cut. So we always take a little break here. And I'm going to show you how to cut tombow. So the first thing is feet. Okay. So I will pull my hakama up a little bit. Once again, it was way too long. So first thing, my feet are shoulder width apart, stepping straight back like a railroad track. And I'm going to bend my knee, my left knee, over my big toe. So feet are parallel, step straight back like a railroad track. My left knee, I bend, leaning forward over my big toe. My back foot on my right foot is not up, but it's slightly off the ground, almost like I could put a piece of paper or a leaf underneath it. My weight is forward. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lean on my left foot, and I'm going to turn my foot out. So I'm going to lean on my left foot and turn my hip out, turn my foot out. Let's do 3 times all together. Ready? Each. Lean, knee. Some. She. Good. That was 4. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to fall forward. So this is opening my hip open, right? So as I fall forward and down, okay, I'm going to open my hip, and then I'm going to step forward, keep staying on that same line, and I'm going to sink my weight down, dropping my center, my tanden. Okay, so again, I'm going to turn my foot open, and I'm going to fall straight, dropping my weight down. Okay, so let's try this 3 times all together. Ready? Each. Knee. 1 more. Some. Good. So this, we're just falling forward and down, okay? And I'm falling straight. I want to make sure when I step, I'm stepping straight and my hips are still forward. I don't want to make sure when you fall forward that you're not stepping parallel to your foot, because now my hips are facing this way. All right, next thing we're going to do is yo to in. So yo position is open, in position is closed. And instead of pushing like a push-up in the center, I'm going to push to the left side, right to the left side. This is where I want the cut to end. So I'm going to push right here. And as you push, I want you to breathe out. So think about your body, your chest being open, your hands are on your sides, just like you're laying on the floor. And you're going to push, extending both arms out. So make sure both arms are extended out. Let's do 3 times breathing out. Ready? Each. Ni, Sam, Shi, Go. Very good. So you should get that feeling of pushing. So going from A to B. So think about A, B, just pointing to that point, right? Just pointing, pushing to that point. That's the cut. Everything else is grip. So your tenuch, your proper grip, when you're here in Tombow no Kamae, you're going to squeeze your grip here to activate it a little bit. And then when you finish the cut, you're going to squeeze kitete, tomite. So you're going to stop the cut where you want it to stop. Everything else is moving forward and down. And this is all happening at the same time. It has to be simultaneous. So when you're doing this, you can't fall and then push. It has to be at the same time. Okay? So that's very important. The last little thing is, so you're going from yo position, pushing to in position, and then you have to go back to chuyo, which is neutral. So chuyo is a relaxed position. It should be a natural transition. You don't want to make it seem like it's something that's like too pronounced. So what do I mean by that? So when you cut, let your chest, let everything else straighten up, okay? What you don't want to do is you don't want to make it so pronounced where you're looking like a duck or something, where you're being too pronounced with it. So it should feel natural after you make that cut. Let's do 10 Tombow cuts all together. Think about the kesagiri cut, okay? If you're at home, you don't have a sword, you can just use your hand. And how do I do that? I'm here and I'm pushing my hand. Don't worry about cutting with your arm, right? I just want to push. Okay, here we go. Tombow no Kamae. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, Q, Ju. Fantastic, really good. I'm going to call on someone and see how you do. All right, Daniel. Daniel's down in Mexico City, gives us a little palm tree, a little warmth. Ready, Daniel? So please, everyone, do 10 Tombow no Kamae, but I'm watching Daniel. All right, ready, Daniel? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, Q, Q. Good, Daniel. Relax. Good, good, good. So, Daniel, this is what I want you to work on, and this will help everybody else as well. So, Daniel, one of the main things I'm seeing is that your angle of your cut is really steep. You're cutting this angle, almost vertical, right? So you want to cut this angle, 45, okay? So when you cut, you're cutting here, 45 degrees, okay? So think about where you want the sword to end. So when you cut, that's why I say push to here. I'm not cutting here, but I'm just pushing here. Okay, so that's the first thing.
Okay.
Second thing is try to let your hips turn out. So your homework is to basically sit in this position and then at the same time push. So try to sync that at the same time. So it's not turning and then going, but as you turn, it's simultaneous. So syncing those two movements will help make this cut. You're already getting a hasuji, but your angle is too steep. So you're cutting very, very steep. You're cutting like this. See the angle?
Mhm.
I want you to cut this. Okay?
Okay.
But otherwise, fantastic. And thank you for the sunshine.
All right. Thank you.
So let's do another 10 all together. Tombow no Kamai. This time I want you to try something a little different. So instead of falling forward, I want you to try switching your feet. So what do I mean by that? So what I just showed, the first one I show you is this. You turn your foot out and you fall forward, right? Another version of this is just to switch your feet and fall right into that Tombow cut. Okay? So I want you to try that and see how you like it. So when you cut, okay? Let's try 10 all together, okay? This time, switching your feet and pushing forward at the same time, okay? Let's do 10. You ready? Here we go. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Ho. Rok. Shich. Hutch. Q. Shoot. How'd that feel? So those are fun. It's kind of a fun way to think about it. You're falling forward and down. On this one, you're not even falling forward and down. You're just dropping your weight, right? I'm here, and then I'm just dropping my weight straight down. So it's an interesting cut to try to figure out. It takes a while. So everyone's doing great. Be patient with yourselves. Practice that grip. Practice yo to in transition, and it will come, I promise. So now that we've done subari, let's do Tenku no Touch Gyo, Shin, and So. This is nukyuchi, this is drawing and cutting, and then we put the sword away, which is called noto. So we don't have saibiki, we use our hips. So once again, when you're doing this, make sure you're pulling your hips back and forth, right? And you're not pulling off to the side. So the first one I want you to be mindful of letting your arm again come forward. Just letting your arm swing forward. So think of your right arm as being like frozen in a cast or frozen solid, and letting your arm just come forward. So 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, about 7:30, right? It's a kesa cut, but it's a shallow kesa. So I'm actually cutting, instead of cutting all the way from shoulder to hip, which is here, I'm cutting here. This is shoulder to the under the arm. Okay? So if you have furniture, don't hit the furniture. You got to go higher. You got to go higher. But be mindful that if you are making that correction of because your environment, try to be mindful of when you are in an open space, just to practice with no sword and just getting used to making that angle proper. This way the physical memory is there rather than the physical memory being like, well, my couch is always there, now it's not there. So that's on you. So everyone, just kick your hands out for a second. You can use both hands if you want. And let's just let them drop to the sides and bring them forward. And you should feel that momentum bring you forward, right? Your arms should naturally come forward. And that's the feeling you want. You want to keep that momentum coming forward. So once the arm comes forward, then you can transition from grip to flat hand and pushing across your body. So the goal is to push the sword to the left side because we wear the sword on the left side, okay? So I'm letting my arm come forward. I'm squeezing my grip, this is tenuch, right? And when the arm comes forward, I'm gonna push the hand forward and the hand flat. So there's a little transition here, but I have to go from grip to flat and pushing over to the left. So you have to make that transition. You're gonna have to find it yourself. I like to think about cleaning the table. So when I'm here, once the arm comes forward, then I transition and the hand goes flat and I push over to the left side. Okay, so let's try 10 all together, nice and slow. This is Gyo, and on this one, we're stepping straight back like a railroad track, right? Stepping straight back. Trying to keep your hips forward and aligned. All right, you ready? Let's do 10 all together, and then I'm going to call on someone. Each. Knee. Sam. Shi. O. Rok. Shich. Touch. Q. Chew. Very good. So these are difficult. They're not easy to do. So it pays to go slow and be smooth. All right, I'm going to call on someone. I'm going to give you some criticism. Let's see how you do.
Say,
Sergey. You ready?
Hi, Sensei. Hi, everybody.
Very good. Hope you're okay. I hope your family is okay. We're all
Okay.
okay. So 10 all together. Please do 10 with Sergey. I'm watching Sergey, but I want everyone to do 10. Ready? Each. Knee. Sam. She. Oh. Broke. Sheech. Hutch. Q. Chew. Really good, Sergey. Really, really good. So these comments are for you. So really, really good, Sergey. These are the couple of things that I'm noticing. So the first thing is the feet. So try to make sure that your feet stay a little bit wider. Your feet seem a little narrow to me. So as you're doing this, your feet are very narrow. See how narrow my feet are? So when you're stepping back, it's very narrow, okay? So try to be a little wider in your stance. So a good way to do that is just to kind of be shoulder width and then step straight back, right? So you're stepping and you're a little more square, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is you don't have to go all the way back on this one, right? It should just go back naturally where you're comfortable and it'll come back, okay? So it should be, so try to be a little softer on this. The other reason is when you're drawing, you're making a lot of noise. So if you're making a lot of noise when you're drawing this from the saya, you're drawing too hard, you're pulling. So try pushing and being quiet, okay? So you don't want to really hear any noise from your saya as you're drawing. So really you should be quiet. The other little thing is you don't have to turn the sword up on the no-toe. This is just a warm-up exercise. In kata, when we're doing, you're doing kata and you do this, yes, halfway and then turning up. But these are just warm-up exercises. So this, once you have your grip here, right, and your grip is, you grab around the koyoguchi, right, and you're pinching, you can keep your fingers flat like this. You can keep your hand flat like this for this exercise, okay? You don't have to turn the saya up and down, okay? So a lot of times when I practice, as I was learning this, we would take blue tape. I call it the blue tape of shame that I would give to myself. And now I passed, Yahage sensei gave it to me. Alex is giving the thumbs up because I did it to him. Use painter tape, don't use duct tape, just if you're hairy like myself and Alex, which is more painful. So we tape our fingers so we don't pinch. It's okay to relax your fingers if you're using a live blade. Again, this is a disclaimer, don't use a live blade when we're training. We go very fast. Practice the Ito is much better, and this way you won't be in the hospital. I do practice with a live blade every so often. I don't stream or do anything when I do that because I focus only on the blade and only on my technique. It is dangerous, and my goal is not to make a visit to the hospital or the emergency room. I don't want to be that guy. So Sergey, really, really good. Try to relax, let your body relax, but you don't have to go extended all the way behind you. It should be relaxed. Try to be mindful of keeping your grip, your tenuchi. So when you're coming back like this, you definitely want to maintain this relationship, this tenuchi. Try not to let the ska hit the back of the inside of your arm. And this way you don't do what we call chicken neck, okay? But Sergey, really good, and I'm glad to see you. I'm really worried about everybody in Ukraine, so please give my love to everybody and give my love to your family and tell them that you guys are very much on our minds and we're very okay.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you.
So let's do 10 more. The next one we're going to do is Shin. This one, we're not stepping back. It's not as relaxed, but this time we're squeezing our grip, snapping. Everyone can snap, right? And when you snap, you're pushing the thumb forward, right? Squeezing that cut, stopping that cut with tenuchi, with grip. So you're going to stop the cut here, right along the side. And this time, instead of stepping back, you're going to stop the cut and you're going to push your hips back and forward again. Okay, so this one, we're not stepping back. We're just we're straightening our legs and pulling our hips forward. Okay, for advanced students, if you want, you can start playing with where you stop that cut. Remember, we're stopping the cut with yo position and making that transition into in position. So the key is not to use your arms to do that, but rather letting your chest bring that energy back in. So for advanced people, for beginners, please try to stop the cut right here, parallel to your body, okay? For advanced, you can try to close that where you want to stop the cut, right? So I've been practicing, I've been trying to stop it here, okay? But still doing it through my chest rather than doing it through my arms, all right? Let's do 10 altogether. This is Sheen, okay? Here we go. Ready? Yeah, gauche. Each. Knee. Sun. She. Go. Broke. Sheech. Hutch. Hugh. Chew. So these are not easy. We practice these a lot. I mess up all the time. I poke myself. Better to poke yourself with an Iaito than a live blade because then you end up in the hospital. So don't end up in the hospital. Don't use a live blade, especially those who are not training with us. Again, for people who are watching on YouTube and you're watching this, if you want to train with us, we have lots of online classes. We also do Kudo. Go to patreon.com/NYBA and you can come train with us. We'd love to have you. So for everybody else, yes, you have a question? Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Hold on, let me pin you.
It's just a quick question.
Sure.
Is there any trick we can use? How do you manage to hit the saya? Is because I'm always having a hard time to hit the saya exactly where it goes when I'm going back. Like I'm always missing in the fingers
Right.
below,
Okay.
over. Is there anything we can do for it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So it's at a certain point, it's muscle memory. So the best way I can describe it is you have to just, it's a practice. There's really no cheat with it. For me, once you have this pinch here and your body is here, you can just, what I used to do is I would practice just touching, right? Just touching. For beginners, we just have them touch, right? Touch. But what happens is people tend to see how I'm bending my elbow here and they break their wrist. So it's a tough thing because you guys have to learn how to just touch this point here, right? Just touching here. And it's a feel thing. You'll just get used to it. I miss sometimes too. I mean, it's just natural. But this is you want to be flat, right? And you want to just get used to bringing your arm forward. Once you touch, you push. So it's not like you touch and you stay there for a long period of time. The second you feel that you're there, you're pushing across your body and you're stepping back or you're pulling your hips back. So an exercise is just getting used to just bringing forward and touching, right? You can start with just that, just getting that muscle memory of where you are. But just be mindful that this is just learning that angle and how you touch flat. The key is to be flat and parallel. You don't want to come back here and you don't want to come back here. You want to be flat. I have a tendency to be up sometimes, or I used to be down, or I would be slightly low. So it took me a long time to be parallel and flat, okay? But you still want to make sure that you're bringing your arm forward and then touch. you start getting used to where it's like a muscle memory is the best way I can describe it. So just repeating, touching like that, just touching, and getting used to where that mark is, and then you can allow your arm to come forward. Okay, does that help? I'm not sure if that helps, if that answers the question or not. Yes? Okay, very good. So these, like I said, are difficult. So I'm going to call on someone. I want to see someone do Sheen. Let's see, Claudia, you want to try it?
Sure.
So everyone, please do 10 with Claudia, but I'm watching Claudia, okay? Ready? Each. Knee. Oops, careful, don't knock anything over. Sam. She. Go. Broke. Sheech. Hutch. Q. Jew. Good, Claudia. Okay, Claudia, these comments are for you. This is really hard, so you did really, really well. So there's a couple things I want you to work on, but mainly my advice, number one, is get a wakizashi. They're shorter swords. They're about
I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
fantastic because
Yeah.
you're in a tight space and I can hear you're hitting stuff, and you're drawing out here because I can tell you don't want to hit something. So that's going to help a lot. So the first thing I want you to practice on is basically pushing to in and then making that in yo motion. And you can do that with no sword. So the first thing I want you to do is, as you're in iai gauche, pushing into in, letting both sides of your body collapse in. Once the sword is out, then rolling your fingers into yo position and then letting it come back into in, pushing, and then pulling your hip back. And you can do that with your hands. You don't need a sword to do that. So a lot of these exercises, I mean, I live in Brooklyn, New York City. I take the subway every so often, not as much as I used to, or I take the bus sometimes, and I will stand on the bus platform or the subway platform, and I will basically be doing this. And people think I'm an idiot, functioning idiot, yes, but an idiot. But I'm basically practicing that muscle memory, and I'm letting my body collapse with the draw, expand with the cut, and then come back, and then expand, closing. So it's it's really thinking about your body moving rather than your arms or your hands or the sword for that much. The sword is almost secondary. It's an extension of your body. So you have to think about your body and how your body is moving, okay? So I would rather see you guys practice with just nothing, right? And just getting that muscle memory in your body, okay? And yes, the shorter sword is gonna be much, much better for you in a small space because you're not whacking into things. The other thing is grabbing the sword as you draw. So what I also want you to work on is pushing rather than grabbing. So pushing is flat. So my hand is relaxed. I'm pushing the sword out, right? This should be relaxed. Pushing the sword out, push. And once the sword is out, then I roll my fingers, rolling my fingers, making that cut in front of me. And you're gonna find that with a wakizashi, because you have a little more space, you should think about reaching in front of you. So I don't know if you have a stuffed animal or a newspaper or anything that you can hit in front of you. like I have this thing here, I don't want to cut it, the foam roller thing that these guys use. I'll bring it over here, and I'll just show you as an example. But as I'm cutting, I want to make sure I'm aiming for this target in front of me, right? I'm trying to reach in front of me rather than reaching to the side of me. So if this is directly in front of me here, this is where my cut should be hitting, right? So be mindful that if you draw here and I cut, I've missed the target because the cut is here. So be mindful of where you want that cut to happen. And you want it to happen in front of you, okay? But otherwise, fantastic. These are really difficult warm-up exercises. So Claudia, you're doing great.
Thank you, Sensei.
So keep it up. Get us your, definitely let me know when you get your wakizashi, and we can get David, maybe you can work with David for like an hour or something, and he can help you kind of get up to speed. That would be fantastic. So email us, let me know I have your email, so I'm going to connect you with David and you guys can set up a time. Is that okay? Fantastic. Okay, so the next one. So the next one we're going to do is So. So is our version of Zen meditation. This year we are focusing on the concept of Fudoshin, which is relaxed mind. So I want everyone to think about that moment in time where they are relaxed and they are calm. One of the things about battle or any kind of stressful situation is learning how to quote unquote keep a cool head under a tight or dangerous situation. And the concept is Fudoshin, which is relaxing your mind and trying to relax your mind. So think about that moment in your life where you are relaxed. And even when you're stressed at work or anything, think about, for me, I think about, waves in the water and it's very busy. And then I think about a lake that's very calm and glass-like and the waves are calmed down until there are no more waves. So everything is done in one speed, super slow motion, okay? And with this one, all I want you to work on is this transition. So put your hand in front of you, bring it to the side, and then turn your hand over. Just making that transition from this to this, turning the hand over. Let's do 2 more each. Knee. Fantastic. Okay, let's do 3 all together. Super, super slow. Please follow my pace. You guys ready? Here we go. So we begin. This is So, Yagosh. Each. Knee. Sun. Very good. So is a great way. It's closer to like Tai Chi, in my opinion. Like it's very, very slow, but it's a good opportunity to work on all those little transitions from in to yo Yo to in, yo, in, and then Chyo, right? Making all those transitions, thinking about where those cuts are happening, proper grip, all those little things that you can, all those details that we can work on. This is a good place to work on that. So if you're feeling stressed out at work or with whatever, doing a couple of these helps calm you down, calms your mind, and try to think about Fudoshin in that calm place where you can go in your head. Okay, so really good, guys. That's the warm-up exercise. David, I hope I'm doing okay with my time. It was very
Yeah, cool, Sensei. Can I, with your permission, could I add one thing to your muscle memory thing?
Sure.
If you pin me for a second.
Hold on, I'll pin you.
Thank you. And Sensei is talking a lot about muscle memory, and I know when I first started, I kept thinking muscle memory. I'm trying to figure out my muscle memory here. For me, what worked was, as the Sensei says, is the muscle memory out here. If I'm too low, I come up at an angle. If I'm too high, I come weird. So my muscle memory for me to learn this was really, where am I relaxed and out here? And if I learned this properly, when the sword came back, oh, it's already flat. So if that helps somebody, that may be just a slightly different way. For me, the muscle memory is here, not here, out here. And then the sword automatically just comes where it wants to be. You'll be flat.
That's a really good point, David. Thank you. So that is a really good point. Thinking about exactly where that angle is. If you're too steep, what happens is you come back and you're going to adjust your left hand that you're holding the saya with to line up with this angle, which is no good. So this should be flat. So you should think about where the sword is going to be flat. Anyway, but thank you, David. That was really good. So I hope that, Daniel, I hope that was like a good little tip as well. Completely different way of looking at it. All right. So today we're going to do, we're going to do a couple of kata. We're going to do some Nidan, I think. We're still in Nidan set. But we also have, we could also do Sandan as well today a little bit. We can start maybe a little bit earlier. Oh, are we recording? Did you hit record? You did not hit record, David. Sorry, guys, for people who are getting this recording today. My apologies. We just did a warm-up exercise, so you missed warm-up. That is going to be on YouTube, so my apologies. But this is the recording for our students as well. So this is now we're starting kata. So my apologies, guys. All right, so today we're going to start with the last kata in Shodan. Actually, let's do Shirekto. We're going to start with the last Nidan kata. So Shirekto is called white thread or white line. I think it's called white thread. And you're really cutting a thin line above the eye in the center or on the left eye of your opponent. It is a short, small cut. It is not, you're not cleaving the person in half. You're just basically hitting right above their eye, blinding them, or in the center, blinding them, and then you're putting the sword right back in. This is meant to be done as quickly as you can. It is a very fast kata. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'll demonstrate it once or twice. There are a couple of different ways of doing it. I'm going to show you one or two ways. Time. So what am I doing? I'm basically reaching and extending the cut, and then I'm coming straight back. So there's a little trick to this, which is the feet. So when I'm standing in Iai Gosh, my feet are kind of square. With this kata, Once I step forward, I step into the center of the target, right? I step in the middle line, right? So I'm not stepping parallel, but I'm stepping in the middle, okay? The key is the draw. The draw is flat. So when I push the sword out, I'm stepping forward at the same time as I'm drawing. The sword pushes all the way, and at the last second, it turns over and I cut. Now here, I am extending myself, right? I am reaching with the cut, okay? So this is me square. I'm pushing and stepping. I step in the center, sword turns over, and I drop. I can do one of two things. I can sink into horse stance, or I can bend my knee down with the cut. I bend down, I pull the saya out, and I bend down again. This is one continuous line, right? So I'm lining the saya with the sword up. You can see that it's extended, and I'm turned almost to this, I'm almost at a side angle here, right? This is one line, okay? The key is to make sure that you're bringing it right back. It goes right back into the saya, okay? The noto on this is a little different. This is as close to sayabiki as we get, I think, which is we basically pull the saya. Once I've cut and I'm extended with proper grip, I see a lot of people who do this, right? They let the sword bounce. I can make the argument that you shouldn't be doing that. Some people do, some people don't. I'm teaching, don't do it. Try to keep proper grip if you can. So proper grip, pull the saya out. So I pull the saya out, and once I touch the back of the mune, the sword, the back of the sword to here, I'm going to drop my knee down, and I'm going to pull this back like a gear shift, okay? Right? The key is you're coming right. You want to come back here as close to the tip as possible. It should go right in theory. So again, it should go right back in. This is a difficult kata. This is an advanced kata. Let's try it a couple of times together. This is Shirekto. You ready? Here we go. For very beginners, try to do it my speed, and I'm going to go pretty slow, and I'm going to try to pull my hakama up so you can see my feet a little better. And remember, the target is right over the left or right eye, or in the center, one of the eyes of your opponent. I believe it's on the right eye of your opponent. Ready? Hajime. It's hard to do this slow. As you can see, I'm falling everywhere. Ready? Hajime. Again. Hajime. One more time. Here we go. Hajime. So the key is on this is you're pushing the sword out as you step forward. The second the sword is all the way out, the sword turns up, and I sink my weight cutting. then it immediately comes right back. And no toe. So it's really as quick as you can. You're supposed to do this as fast as you can do it. I know people who do it much faster than me. It's something that I'm working for, and I practice all the time. So let's do it a couple more times all together, and then I'm going to call on someone. Let's do it.
Sensei, I have a question.
Oh, of course, of course. Hold on a second.
About back leg. This or this?
Hold on a second. Show me.
This?
Horse stance or forward? Good question, Sergey. So there are two answers to that. Two answers. Okay.
Okay.
Two ways of doing it that I have seen, and I've seen Sensei do them both ways. First way I've seen Sensei was horse stance, and then he turns his foot forward and in. That's the first way. The second way, and this is the way I was taught, which is you're basically stepping forward and you're just bending your knee. Forward stance. So I have seen it both ways.
Hi, Sensei.
Up to your comfort level. Me personally, it depends on how my feet are feeling or how my hips are feeling that day, if I'm feeling limber or not. You know, I have a tendency to go into this stance, like a horse stance, but I tend to go, when I go into a horse stance, my problem is I tend to go at a slight angle rather than being straight. And for me personally, one of the things I always struggle with is the return. So when you come back, you're supposed to come right back to the, it's supposed to go right in, back into the saya. Okay, as small as you can make it. My problem is that and this took me a long time, but I kept doing this. When I step parallel and I cut straight, the sword is going to come back and it would hit me in the center of the head because I'm not on the side. So I figured out that if I step in the middle and I cut, now the sword is coming back, but it's lined up to the side. So be mindful of letting your hips being in that center, okay? But you can do either one. If you're going to do horse stance, where you cut horse, when you come back, you have to turn your hips forward. Okay?
Hi, Sensei.
Because what happens is if you stay in horse stance, right? And I'll do it this way so I can show you. If I stay in horse stance and I come back, it's hard for me to come back straight. Like I want to turn my body, right? I want this to come back straight.
Understand.
Okay. So to start with, for the very, very beginners, I would say recommendation is start with just forward stance, bending your knees and up. That's what I would start with. For more advanced, if you feel like you can figure it out, then you can figure out horse and then turning. Also okay. Does that answer your question, Sergey? Yes?
Understand. Thank you.
Fantastic. So I'm going to call on somebody. Sergey, thank you for asking that question. So Mario, do you want to give it a try?
Yes, Sensei.
Do you want to do it by yourself? You want to do it with me?
Would you please?
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'll pin myself as well. Okay, so we'll do this together. Okay. Do you want me to face this way or do you want me to face this way? This way? Forward. Sideways, better. Okay, so we'll do this 3 times. I'll do it twice with you and then I'm going to watch you do it once. Okay. So, and I'll back up a little bit so you can see my feet a little bit better. Ready? Ajme. Ready? Ajme. It's hard to do it slow. Okay, now I'm going to watch you one more time. So I just want to watch you. I'm going to shut my spotlight off for 2 seconds. Ready? Ajme. Good, Mario. Okay, so this is what I want you to work on. Really good. Mario, this cut has to be forward. So don't cut, don't draw up. So it's not drawing up and then cutting, okay? So think about the sword just moving forward at the same time as you step. So for you, Mario, when you're in this position, the second you push, you're stepping forward at the same time. Okay? The key is to keep it all in one line. So when you step, make sure you step in the middle. Okay? Step in the middle and push out. Once the sword is all the way out, it turns over, cut, and the sword comes right back. So you don't want the sword to come across. See how the sword is across my body? I want the sword to be straight, right? The sword comes right back into the saya. Okay? So you shouldn't have to twist your body. It should go right back into the saya. Okay? This is a difficult kata, so be patient. This is really, really hard. So Corey, for Mario, for you, sorry, I called you Corey. The key is to push the sword out and step forward at the same time. So as you push out, and you can see the sword is still flat here. Once the sword is out, the last second I turn and I cut, and then it comes right back here. It's almost like this is a good way to kind of think about it. Everyone has basically gone into a closet, right? And you have to reach into the closet to get something, correct? So think about you're reaching into a closet, into a small space, a narrow space. You're reaching into that space and you're bringing the sword right back. That's a good way to kind of think about it. I don't have anything here I can demonstrate it with, but think about a narrow space. Think about when you know, everyone has a closet in their house, or their parents have it, or friends or family members have it, where they have a narrow space and you had to reach into something to get it. You're reaching in to get that space. So you're having to twist your body sideways to get that. Now that my body is sideways, I want to keep it sideways. I want to keep it flat. Okay, let's call one more person and see how you do. Okay. All right, Alex. Ready, Alex?
Hey,
So everyone, please do it with Alex, but I'm watching Alex. Ready? Ajme. Good, Alex. One more time. Ready? Hajime. Good, Alex. Alex, can you do it towards the camera, towards me?
All right.
One more time. Ready? Hajime. Good, Alex. So Alex, for you, what I want you to think about also is that closet, is reaching into that closet space. So when you're drawing, you're still stepping very wide. See how my foot is wide here? Right? So you're you're stepping very wide and you're cutting in the middle here. And when you're coming back, right, you're having to move your head to adjust, right? So the key, and this is going to help you a lot, is stepping in that middle line. So think about a line in the middle and you're stepping right in that center line. Okay, so that's going to help you a lot. So you're not stepping parallel on this, you're stepping right in the middle of that line, right? And you're turning your body to the side, right? Right, I'm reaching. So you want to make sure you're reaching in that closet, right? And the sword is all the way out flat. And then when it comes back, it's coming back. To the left side, right? It's coming back straight. Does that help?
It does, Sensei. Thank you.
Let's try it all one more time. Let's do it 2 more times all together, and then we're going to go on to a different kata. Okay? Ready? Hajime. Again, ready? Hajime. Fantastic. So this is a difficult kata. This one takes a lot of practice. I am still working on this one. It is difficult. But the key is to think about reaching, right? I'm reaching and I'm putting the sword back in one line, okay? So try to make sure the draw is flat all the way out to the last second, and then it turns over, right? So the sword is flat. We draw this, in Rushin, we draw the sword flat. So the sword is flat, 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 flat. And then the last second, it turns over and I cut. Really good, guys. So being that this is the end of Nidan month, we're going to start doing some Sandan kata. Why not? I love Sandan. It's one of my favorite sets. The first one is one of my favorite kata of all, which is Inazuma Chudan. So we're going to start with Inazuma Chudan, just to explain it, and then we're going to do Inazuma Chudan. Chudan is the more true form of Inazuma. There is no stopping, okay? So in Shodan, you'll relax, right? You're stopping the cut here, right? And then you're squeezing in, you'll in, cutting kesakiri. And you're making that loop, that no shape, but you're doing it with your chest, right? You'll in, okay? Chudan, instead of making that loop with your arm around your opponent's face, you're using the kasake, you're using the tip to draw the circle. And there's no stopping, okay? So there's no stopping. You don't stop this momentum. Right from here, you're not stopping. You're letting this momentum bring you around and up, okay? So I'll demonstrate Chudan. The other difference is after you make the cut, it's instead of making a big pronounced scoop like this, you are scooping quick. So quickly scooping into tumble. Everything else is the same. So I'll demonstrate once or twice, then I'll explain a little more, and we'll try them all together. So this is Inazuma Chudan. So what am I doing? I'm in Iai-gosh, same as in Shodan level, in position, and I'm drawing not down, I'm not drawing super high up, but I'm drawing slightly up and forward. Pulling my hips back, pushing my hips forward, and I'm bringing my foot up. You can see my foot like this, up like this. One of my big pet peeves is people who do this. No good. So you want to make sure that you're moving forward and you're bringing your foot up and forward and your knee forward. For very beginners, don't worry so much about the jump. It's more about the idea of pushing forward and up. Once the sword is here, cutting, this is, so the bunkai, I don't have someone here, the person attacking me is cutting this way. And I'm cutting kote. That's the first cut. So I'm cutting kote, right? Kote up. The sword comes in, and now I'm making a loop with my tip. And the tip is going around, and I'm cutting Tessa. So I'm making this loop here. So I want everyone, before we even use our swords, I want you to, again, do this with just your hands, okay? So, in, yo, relax, in, yo, catch, and cut. Very good. So you have to also think about this. This is a very difficult kata as well. You have to think of a spiral moving through space, and the sword is moving through space, moving forward like a spiral. It doesn't stay here, right? It's not staying right here. I'm cutting and then I'm moving through space, okay? So again, yo, in, yo, open your chest, catch, in, scoop, tombo no kamai, wakigame no kamai, seiga no kamai, and then o chuburi and noto. So this motion that we did before, remember this thing we did, right? Nice and comfortable, letting this come back, that momentum, is the same thing as this. Same thing. The only difference is instead of it being here, going to 730, now you're going to about 230, right? 230 or 130, right? This is 3, this is 2, right? This is about 130, so about 130, right? And you're letting your chest open and close. Let's try this all together. The main difference, again, is you're using the kasaki, the tip, to make that loop. So you're making that loop with the tip of the sword rather than with your arm, okay? So let's try it all together, nice and slow. For beginners who haven't done this, please do it my speed. I'll go nice and slow, or as slow as I can. All right, I'll do it forward. Let's do it like 4 or 5 times. Time. I think we're okay. Here we go. You ready? Aj. Let's try one more time. I end up, when I do slow, I end up doing it in Shodan. Ready? This is Chudan. Ajime. Again. Ready? Ajime. more time. Here we go. Hajj. Good. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know.
I just got a revelation, Sensei.
Okay, sure. Hold on.
The reason some other styles do the violin motion is because it's much more easier to hit the saya like this. So this style is more challenging.
This style is, this system is, I would say it's slightly more technical than other systems that I've practiced.
I think faster, actually. It's a much faster draw.
This system was designed for bodyguards during the Edo period, from what I was told. We use a shorter sword and a lighter sword. My personal belief is I think this wasn't even designed for a full katana. I think this system was designed specifically for wakizashi, for short swords. We have a lot of one-handed techniques, and the idea is that you're doing it in a small contained environment. You're using your body to generate a lot of torque and a lot of power, and you have multiple cuts. So we're not cleaving things in half all the time. A lot of times we're just targeting jugular or femoral artery, or a thumb or a wrist, just to kind of, knock someone to the side or make sure they're incapacitated, and you go on to the next opponent. So it is a more difficult noto, right? Like we don't have like sayabiki. When you do sayabiki and you're here, right? It's a little easier because you're coming here, right? But it's a violin mode. It's just a different thing. It's a much, I did a little bit of Ishin. I have a Shodan and Muso Shinden Ryu. I almost got my knee on, and then we switched systems, so I never got my knee on. But I also did Tamiya for a little bit as well, which is even more formalized, Muso Shinden. It's fun. It's completely different. So you're basically throwing the tip out, and they have sayabiki. It is, I don't know. I go back and forth with, liking it and not liking it. I appreciate this system because it's just very technical. It keeps me interested, and it's not easy to do. So even people who we have who are my friends who come and see me or come train with us, who are very high level Muso Shinden guys, or Toyama or whatever, and they try to do this noto, and they can't do it because they're so used to doing sayabiki, right? So they're used to doing this, right, and twisting their body. So whatever works for anybody, we teach specifically Rushin. So I appreciate having learned this and knowing this system, having practiced a bunch of other ones. There's an interesting interview that we did with Yahage Sensei. I think it was in 2017, that's up on YouTube, and we have it on our website as well. And he talks about, we asked him about this system versus other systems for the same exact reason, Daniel. And he had a very similar comment, which was, he's like, I don't know about the other systems. I like practicing this, and I appreciate this when I see other people doing their system. This is more in depth, and we have more, I don't want to say details, but it's technical, and the idea of like you're learning in and yo, you're using your body to make the cuts, which is a lot more technical than other systems, other than just cutting or doing patterns and stuff. But there's, every system has its merits, and this system was for bodyguards. It wasn't for battlefield. There's battlefield systems that were not for bodyguards, and so each system has its own merits and is unique in its own way. Again, like even if you listen to, we did a series last year with called Gateway, and we were interviewing our friend Malcolm Tiki Showan Sensei, who's from Europe, and he studied, blacksmithing in Japan, and he talked about, like the sword is a specialized tool, and every system has a sword that's specifically made for that system. So I could go buy a sword. It doesn't mean that it's a sword that's designed even for this system. It might be for like battlefield. So it's a much heavier blade compared to a lighter sword. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting to think about how dynamic and how versatile these systems are. And this is a very specific one. So I hope that answers your question. So I want to call on someone now that I've talking too long. You blocked me.
That's okay. It's just a little bit of I call it friendly bullying for our brothers in other styles.
All right, Robert, you ready? So this is Inazuma Chudan, not Shodan. So you're working on Shodan, but for you, there's no stopping here, right? It's just you go right into the cut. Ready? Ajane. Good. One more time, Robert. One more time. Ready?
Yes.
Ajane. Very good, Robert. Fantastic. Okay, so Robert, these comments are for you. This is what I want you to work on this.
Yes.
So really good. So Robert, one of the main things I want you to work on is where you're making that transition. So no sword, just hands.
Yes.
Roll in, yo. You have to let your body collapse and turn. The sword has to turn in front of you. So if you make the turn and you're just bringing your wrist out,
Yes.
no good.
No
Because
good.
your chest. So I want you to think about flexing. This is flexing, open, in, open, in, open, in, open, in, open, in. So it's this constant flexing of your body to make this cut. So it's more important to have that flexing of your body than worrying about your wrist, because what you're doing is you're drawing and then
Yes.
once you're cutting, you're turning your wrist out,
Okay.
right? So you're not using any of your chest to generate that power. Now you're using only arms, right?
Yes.
Rather than letting your chest bring your center in, open, in. So the idea is that you're using your chest muscles and your back muscles to push to make that cut. So for you, think about when this position, right, letting the arm stay stiff, it's the same thing. The difference is letting your arms collapse. So
I see.
okay, it's a little thing. This is a really difficult kata. The Shodan version is even more difficult because you're having to stop here and then go in again and cut. So you have to stop and then you have to squeeze again to get into that yo position. So it makes it even more difficult. So this is a little easier because that momentum you're using, right? It's the same angle as this. It should feel the same as this motion, right? The only difference is this motion, right? So I want you to practice this week. The only thing I want you to practice, and this is for everyone, just practice letting your chest open and close and keeping your arms stiff.
Yes. Got it.
Then for you on this one, in, open, in, open again, and then you're catching it in midair and cutting. So the second part of this is that transition here. Once you're here, you're grabbing the sword here. cutting. So that's another thing you guys can practice, which is catching the sword here, just putting the sword out in front of you like this. You can see how my arm is all the way out here. I catch the sword and I fall with the cut, and I'm falling in Kesset cut. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I hope you can make it into class soon.
Yeah. All these kids' classes, crazy.
I know. All right, Boris, you ready?
Yeah,
Okay, so Inazuma Chudan.
yeah. Okay, I'll try.
Try, don't knock anything over. I like your plants too much. Ready?
I'm okay.
Hajime. Good, Boris. One more time, Boris.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the movement. You know, like I was working on the Shodan.
It's the same movement. The only difference is that you don't stop on after that first cut.
But why do you emphasize the tip then?
It's the difference of the loop. So here, I'll pin myself to explain. So the tip, the first cut, the loop is, if I'm standing in front, I'm making the loop around my face with my arm, right? My arm is staying still.
Uh-huh. The whole arm does the movement.
Right?
Yeah.
So on the Shodan version, it's more pronounced. The loop is bigger, right? It's a bigger loop here.
Uh-huh.
Right? Chudan, the loop gets smaller. So
But the movement of the hand is the same?
hand is similar, but I'm, instead of worrying about the arm coming all the way around, making this big pronounced
Right.
big loop,
Right.
right? Now I'm
Yeah.
using the Kisaki to make the tip. I'm making the loop smaller. So the idea is that the loop starts, Shodan makes the character no. I'm not sure if these guys have a sticky note. They do. Here, hold on 2 seconds. So this is the no character, right?
Right. Yeah.
My Japanese is terrible, right? I think that's, someone's gonna I'm on YouTube right now, so someone's gonna yell at me for my terrible katakana. So the loop is a large loop on the first one.
Right.
Shodan, the loop is here. Chudan, the loop is here, and Okuden, the loop is here. See the difference?
Okay. Okay.
Smaller, smaller. So that's the reason for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're doing this, also on your Ochiburi, try to bring the sword, inhale, up over your head, and step back. Try not to
Okay.
bring your face. Okay.
Okay. I'll try.
So why don't you try one more time? I'm going to pin you. Ready?
Yeah.
Ajin. Good, Boris. Good. So Boris, for you on this one, try not to stop here. Shodan, we stop
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
right? And then from here, we cut,
yeah.
right? Chudan, there is no stopping. It's a truer form of the technique.
Okay. Okay.
I've had discussions with people about, oh, if you don't, you're not going to be able to, if you only make the loop smaller, it's harder to make that cut from here and cutting through the target. I don't agree with that. I think if you are using proper in and yo, you can make that cut. I mean, I can get a pretty good hasuji and I'm keeping the tip. You know, it's almost like, think about if you had a piece of, like a piece of chalk on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
And you're drawing with a circle with the chalk on the stick. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to think about using that tip to make that loop rather than your arm. The only difference is you're using the tip to make the loop, but you're still using your chest. Your arm is still forward. You're still making that flexing motion, right? You're still going.
So the arm movement is not as big as in Shodan.
Not as big. Yeah, it's a little smaller, but you're still using your chest. You're still using your back muscles.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have to practice it. Yeah.
I have to practice too. All right, guys, I think let's do one more. Yeah, we have about 2 minutes left, and then I have to run. So let's go to the next one. And this is going to be, we'll do this today, and we're going to pick this up for, I'll tell Phil Sensei to start picking this up on Monday, or maybe I'll do this one on, we'll start with this one on Wednesday. So this is Kotagiri Ippome. Actually, Kotagiri Nihome. Yes, this is Kotagiri Nihome. So Ippome, we're cutting this way. Kotagiri is wrist. So with these, I usually teach these as a group. It's about timing and distance. So the first one, your opponent touches the sword, and once they touch the sword, you cut their wrist this way. The second one, they've pushed out a little bit. So now the distance has changed. So they're a little closer to me. So now I have to cut this way rather than this way. So I'll demonstrate the first one, and then I'm going to demonstrate the second one. So the first one, I'm stepping into the space. So I'll lower my camera down just to see my feet a little bit better. So the first one, I step into the space and I push forward, and then I step forward with the cut, cutting this angle, wrist. And it's very fast, boom, really quick, okay? In, yo. Now, the second one, the person's a little closer to me, so I can't step in, I have to step off to the side. So the difference now is, now I'm gonna do the second one. So instead of stepping in, I'm gonna step off to the side. And I'm a wari away, which is spinning away. So I'm gonna pull my hakama up so you can see my foot a little bit better. So as I do this, instead of stepping like on the first one, I'm stepping in. This one, I'm stepping off to the side. But I'm still pushing the sword into the center. I step forward, proper grip, closing my chest, sinking my weight with the cut. Cutting kote, once I cut the wrist, the sword turns over. And I'm going to follow the tip around, feet together. I touch, sweep my feet, owari, and noto. Let's try this a couple of times, nice and slow. For beginners, go my speed. I'm going to go super slow. And I'll pull my other leg up so you can really see my feet. We'll do this a couple of times. Here we go. Ready? This is Kotagiri Nihome. Hajime. Here we go. Ready? Kotagiri Nihome. Ready? Hajime. And here we go. Hajime. Again, I'm stepping off to the side as I push into the center at the same time. So I'm going to call on one person to do this, and then we're going to call it a day. All right, David, you've been very patient.
This is super slow motion here.
Yeah, don't knock anything over. Ready? Hajime. One more time, please. Hajime. Very good, David. So, David, this is my comment for you. So the draw on this is very direct. We don't draw up, we draw directly to the target. So on this one, okay, I'm pushing right out and cutting, right? It's the same thing with this one.
Thank you, Seth. Yeah, I have a tendency of drawing too high. Thank you. Yeah.
This is very
Yeah.
direct. This is A to B. So the best way to do it is just put the sword right on the target, right? You're not bringing the sword up and then
Yeah.
bringing the target. So with this one, remember, you're stepping, push right in the middle, right? This is where the guy's hand is, right? Where my target's hand is, right in the middle, cutting.
All right. One more time.
Yep, please. Ready? Hajime.
Then around.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you got it, but now I want you to start working on the tenuch, the proper grip. So when you're here and you've pushed, make sure that you are in proper grip, that you're not,
All right.
okay? So it's not, you don't want to twist the wrist to make that transition. You want to push. This is where closing your chest and sinking your weight with that cut helps.
All right.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Really good class. Thank you, David, for all your help. Again, thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure seeing everybody. Let's ray out, and I will see you all next week. Just a little quick announcement before we ray out. Phil Sensei teaches and Tati teach on Monday night, so we stream that class. Tuesday, Phil Sensei will be teaching. I'll be in dojo Wednesday, which is a lot of fun. We have a good time. We've been doing a lot of kumitachi, which is also a lot of fun, which is partner practice, which I don't get to do here because I'm all by myself. Yahage Sensei's next class is going to be I believe, March 19th. So you can sign up on that class. through Eventbrite, if you do a search for Rushin Shochi-ryu, or if you go to our Facebook page, I think is on our events. So those classes are always well worth it. And again, thank you for coming, guys. Let's ray out.
Shomini, right? Sensei, right? Otagani, right? Arigato gozaimasu.
So before we bow to the sword, we have a lot of students from Ukraine. Again, I've been extremely worried about them. We've been training with them now for almost 2 years since COVID. I've never physically met them in person, but they are very close to my heart because we've seen them so much. Sergey is here today, but normally we see Oleg and Zlata and Anastasia and Dmitry and all these guys, and it is absolutely terrible. So I normally don't talk politics in the school. This is one of the times that I will, I personally am extremely against this behavior. I think it's terrible. And the only thing I wish is for these people to be able to live in peace and have their own country. So I want to take a moment of silence, and I would like us to kind of have a moment of peace and hopes, and I hope that they're all okay. So take your thumb and put it in your palm. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you, guys.
So me, right?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sensei.
And our thoughts are with everybody in Ukraine, all of our friends there. So please be safe. Sergey, please give Oleg and Yuri and everybody a message and tell them that they are on our minds and we are thinking about them in our hearts. And we hope everything is all right. Thank you very much. Hope everyone had a great class. And
Thank you, Sensei, very much.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you,
Take care.
Sensei.
Right.
thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
During
Also,
the-
we have Judo on Thursday. We're starting archery, so.
Thursdays. And this is for people on YouTube. If you are watching, please hit the subscribe button, give us a like, give us a follow. We appreciate it. If you want to train with us, you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to live in New York to train with us. We have students from all over. We have people here today from Mexico City, from Kentucky, from Ukraine, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all over. So we're really excited to have everybody. If you look us up on Patreon, patreon.com/NYBA, you can come train with us and we'd love to have you. So we have lots of different tiers, and we also do Kyudo on Thursdays with Phil Sensei, who's been basically practicing Kyudo for 38 years. You don't need a big Yumi, or you can use, what is it called, David? I forgot the name of it. Maybe he bumped out. It's called a Gomo Yumi, which is basically like a rubber band with a stick, or you can use a resistance band that you use in like physical therapy, and those work just as well. And it's really about just getting that resistance and then feeling that resistance. But it's a very Zen practice. It's a lot of fun, and you can do it online as well. So thank you guys. Great seeing everybody. Sergey, again, give my love and tell everyone I hope they are safe. I hope your family is safe. It breaks my heart to hear what's happening and to see pictures that are coming out of there. So, I'm hoping that the Russian people will stand up to him and say, that's it, you're out.
We'll win.
Yeah.
Be happy, we'll win.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. Good night. Hope everyone's good. Cheers, everybody.